Silence is not just the absence of words, it is one of the most powerful forms of communication. When you choose to step back, when you decide not to reach out, not to call, not to send that late night text just to check in, you are sending a message that is louder than anything you could ever say. The truth is, silence is often misunderstood as weakness. People think if you don't chase, if you don't beg, if you don't constantly remind someone of your presence, then you must not care. Or worse, you must be losing. But the reality is far different. Silence is power, it is discipline, it is control. And the one who can master silence controls not only their own emotions, but also the emotions of the one who is left in the quiet. When you walk away and refuse to feed her ego with attention, she is forced to confront something she never wanted to face, the emptiness that comes without your presence. At first, she may feel relief. She may even believe she has made the right decision by letting you go. She tells herself she is free, that she can do better, that she will not miss you. In those early days, she feels strong because your silence hasn't sunk in yet. She may even smile, go out with her friends, post pictures pretending to be happier than ever, just to convince herself she doesn't need you. But time has a way of changing everything. What feels like strength at first will slowly begin to crack because silence does something relentless. It forces the mind to wander. When you are silent, she begins to wonder what you're doing. She begins to ask herself questions she never had to ask before. Why isn't he calling me? Why hasn't he checked on me? Why is he so quiet when I expected him to be the one chasing me? That confusion eats at her. It unsettles her because she counted on your presence. Even if she never admitted it, she believed she had control, that you would always be there, ready to respond, ready to forgive, ready to fight for her. But your silence breaks that belief. And with each passing day, the quiet grows heavier. Silence creates space. And in that space, she is left alone with nothing but her thoughts. The same memories she pushed aside when she thought she didn't need you start to come back in waves. The laughter, the conversations, the moments when she felt secure in your presence, those memories grow louder as your silence continues. What once was taken for granted becomes a haunting reminder of what is gone. The mind has a way of romanticizing the past, of making what was once normal feel irreplaceable when it's lost. Your silence sharpens that process. Every day you do not speak, every day you do not appear, the value of those past moments rises in her mind. She begins to feel the weight of your absence more than she ever appreciated your presence. That is the paradox of silence. When you are there, she may dismiss you, she may feel you are ordinary, predictable, too available. But when you withdraw, when you vanish into silence, the very thing she thought was replaceable suddenly feels unique. The very man she overlooked now becomes the one her heart aches for. Your silence becomes a mirror reflecting back the reality she didn't want to face, that what she lost was far more valuable than she allowed herself to admit. But silence is not just about what it does to her. It is also about what it does for you. Choosing silence requires strength. It requires patience. It demands that you resist the urge to break the quiet just to ease your own discomfort. Because make no mistake, silence is uncomfortable. It is heavy. It makes you want to fill the gap, to say something, to do something, to stop the waiting. But when you hold firm, when you let the silence stretch, you are proving something vital, that you are not controlled by desperation. You are not. controlled by fear, and you are not controlled by the need for validation. Instead, you are in control of yourself. You are showing her, and more importantly, yourself, that your worth does not depend on her attention. That kind of discipline changes you. It sharpens your confidence. It reinforces your value. It reminds you that you do not need to beg for anyone to stay, because what is truly yours will remain. And what walks away was never meant for you. And here's the secret: women feel that. They feel when a man is detached, when a man is not desperate, when a man can stand in his silence with strength. It unsettles them because they are used to men who break under the weight of quiet, men who rush back the moment they feel ignored, men who cannot handle being forgotten. But when you refuse to be that man, when you choose to hold your ground in silence, you separate yourself from every man she has ever known. Day by day, as time passes, that silence becomes a storm inside her. It is not the kind of pain that hits all at once. It is slow, creeping, and unshakable. It is the kind of pain that grows stronger the longer it goes unanswered. And she may try to distract herself. She may try to run to someone new, hoping another man's attention will quiet the storm, but it doesn't work, because silence leaves a mark no one else can erase. The new man will never feel like you. His presence will never match the value that your absence created. And every attempt to move on will only remind her of the one thing she can't escape. Time is breaking her down, not you. What makes silence so devastating is that it doesn't just make her miss you. It makes her confront herself. It makes her ask questions about why she let you go, why she didn't value you when she had you, why she believed she could do better, only to discover that she couldn't. Those questions sting more than anything you could ever say to her. Because if you had told her she made a mistake, she would have resisted. She would have argued, defended herself, told you that you were wrong, but silence leaves no argument. There is nothing to fight against. It is only her and her own thoughts, and that is a battle she cannot. So understand this clearly. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power. It is the quiet storm that grows louder with each passing day. It is the invisible weight that presses down harder the longer it is maintained. And if you can master it, if you can hold firm in your silence, then you will not need to chase, you will not need to convince, you will not need to fight. Time will do all the work for you. And that is why silence is your greatest weapon. Because every day you stay quiet, every day you resist the urge to reach out, every day you let her sit in the void of your absence, she feels the truth she tried to ignore. And the longer you hold that silence, the more it hurts her, the more it breaks her, until eventually the weight of it all becomes undeniable. And in the end, you will realize something important. Silence didn't just break her, it built you. It made you stronger, more disciplined, more powerful than before. And when she finally feels the full force of that silence, she will understand the one thing she never wanted to admit: losing you was her greatest mistake. Because the silence that she thought was weakness turned out to be the loudest message she could ever hear. Time has a way of revealing truths that no conversation, no argument, and no explanation ever could. In the beginning, she may believe that walking away from you was the right choice. She convinces herself she's free, that her life will improve without you, that the weight of the relationship was holding her back. In those first days or weeks, she may even feel strong, liberated, almost excited about the path she thinks lies ahead. But time has no loyalty to illusions. Time is like a mirror that strips away the lies we tell ourselves. And as The days stretch into weeks and the weeks turn into months. Reality begins to set in. At first, she might be surrounded by distractions. She goes out more, she laughs louder, she posts pictures online trying to show the world she's thriving. But all of that is surface level. When the lights go out at night and the crowd disappears, time whispers a different truth. It reminds her of what she had. It reminds her of the comfort, the safety, the small moments of connection that she once dismissed as ordinary. Time takes what she overlooked and magnifies it until it's impossible to ignore. She thought she could run from her feelings, but time doesn't let her. The longer she goes without you, the harder it becomes to pretend she's fine. What time does so well is expose the gap between perception and reality. In the beginning, her perception may be that she's better off, that you are replaceable, that she can find someone new and feel the same level of comfort. But as time passes, reality starts to creep. Resent that. The people she meets don't understand her the way you did. The attention she gets doesn't fill her soul. The new experiences she tries don't erase the memories of what you shared. And suddenly, the things she thought she could easily find elsewhere feel irreplaceable. Time has taken what she assumed was normal and revealed it as special, not unique, something she should have held on to. The beauty of time is that it has patience. It doesn't rush, it doesn't push, it simply waits. And in its waiting, it works against her. Every day that passes without your presence is a day that chips away at her confidence in her decision. At first, she may dismiss it as a passing thought, a moment of weakness, but over time, those thoughts grow stronger. They become questions that she cannot escape. Why did I let him go? Did I make a mistake? Was I too quick to push him away? And the more she asks herself those questions, the more painful the answers become. Time also reveals contrast. When you were there, she compared you to her imagination. What she thought she wanted, the perfect fantasy she believed was waiting outside the relationship. But when you're gone, she can no longer compare you to her imagination. Now she compares you to reality, and reality rarely measures up to fantasy. The men she thought would give her more fall short. The attention she thought would satisfy her leaves her empty. And in that contrast, your value skyrockets. The man she thought she could do better than suddenly becomes the standard by which she measures everyone else. And no, that one comes close. The irony is that she may never admit this out loud. Pride won't let her. She may keep smiling in public, keep acting as if her decision didn't bother her, but time has a way of working in the quiet places of her heart. When she's alone, when no one is watching, that's when the regret hits hardest. That's when time reminds her of everything she lost, and it hurts in a way that nothing else can. Regret is not loud, it doesn't scream, it whispers over and over until it becomes unbearable. And the longer she goes without you, the more those whispers turn into an echo that she cannot silence. You see, time doesn't just remind her of you, it changes the meaning of your absence. In the early stages, she may think your silence means nothing. She tells herself you'll eventually come back, that you're just giving space, that she still has control. But as time drags on and you remain unmoved, the silence grows heavier. She begins to realize that your absence is not temporary, it is not weakness, it is strength. And that realization cuts deeper than any words could, because if you were truly desperate, you would have broken by now. If you were truly weak, you would have reached out. But the fact that you haven't changes everything. Time exposes the reality that she is not the one in control, you are. And here's where time becomes the great teacher. It shows her the cost of taking you for granted. It makes her realize that while she thought she could walk away easily, the emotional bill comes due much later and it is far more expensive than she imagined. Every day that passes, that cost increases. The longer she resists, the heavier the debt becomes until eventually the weight of it all is too much to bear. That is the punishment of time. It never lets her forget. It never lets her escape the truth. But while time is breaking her down, it is building you up. Every day you remain silent. Every day you refuse to cave, you grow stronger. You prove to yourself that you don't need her to validate you. You don't need her to feel whole. You don't need her to define your worth. And in that growth, time becomes your ally. What destroys her builds you. What weakens her strengthens you. And that is why patience is so powerful. Because while she is crumbling under the weight of regret, you are rising on the foundation of self-retrope. Time is not something you can rush. It's not something you can control, but it is always working. It works silently, invisibly, relentlessly, and it always reveals the truth. And the truth it will show her is that the longer she goes without you, the more it hurts. The more it empties her, the more it reminds her that she lost someone she should have never let go. In the end, you won't have to say a word. You won't have to prove anything. Time will do it for you. It will strip away her illusions, her pride, her defenses, until all that is left is the raw truth she cannot escape. You were the best thing she had, and letting you go was her biggest mistake. That's the power of time. It doesn't just heal, it also exposes, and in her case, it will expose the pain of losing you in a way nothing else could. At the beginning, she may feel relief. She may believe that walking away from you has set her free, that she can breathe again, that the weight she thought you placed on her is finally gone. For a short while, that feeling may even seem real. She convinces herself she's stronger without you, that she has control over her emotions, and that you were the one who cared more. But the truth is, emotions don't stay still. They shift, they reverse, they change with time. What begins as relief will slowly transform into longing, and what begins as confidence will eventually turn into doubt. This is the power of emotional reversal. At first, she may even enjoy the idea of you missing her. She expects you to chase, to prove yourself, to remind her that she still has the upper hand. But when you don't, when your silence holds and your presence doesn't return, something inside her starts to shift. Instead of feeling like she's in control, she starts to feel unsettled. The questions creep in. Why hasn't he called me? Why isn't he fighting for me? Why does it feel like he's not the one hurting, but I am? That shift in thought is the beginning of the reversal. The longer she goes without you, the stronger that reversal becomes. The emotions she thought she had placed on you are now placed back on her. Where she expected to feel powerful, she begins to feel powerless. Where she thought you would be the one suffering, she realizes she is the one struggling to silence her own thoughts. The balance begins to tip in your favor, not because you did anything dramatic, but because you did nothing at all. Time and silence work together to flip the emotional script. Her confidence starts to fade in small ways. She checks her phone more often, hoping to see your name. She replays past conversations in her head, analyzing every word. She wonders if you've moved on, if you've already forgotten her, if someone else now has the attention she once took for granted, what once felt like her victory, now feels like her loss. And every passing day without contact deepens that feeling. Truth is, emotions cannot be controlled forever. Relief turns into emptiness, pride turns into regret, and longing grows in the silence of absence. While she is battling this reversal, you are gaining strength. You're no longer the one carrying the weight of loss. She is. And that is the beauty of patience. By holding your silence, you allow time to work on her, to unravel her confidence, and to replace her certainty with doubt. In the end, the very feelings she expected you to drown in become the ones that haunt her. The balance of power flips, and the one who thought she was in control is now the one broken by her own emotions. While she is caught in the storm of regret, emptiness, and emotional reversal, you have a path to walk, one that is far more important than focusing on what she feels. The real strength comes when you turn all that energy inward, when instead of chasing her, obsessing over her absence, you choose to build yourself. This is where the separation truly changes the outcome, because while she is losing herself in doubt and longing, you are finding yourself in growth and discipline. When you shift your focus from her to yourself, everything changes. The silence that could have been painful becomes fuel. The time that could have been wasted waiting becomes an investment in your own future. Every day you spend working on your goals, developing your skills, improving your body, sharpening your mind, and building your confidence is a that widens the gap between the man she lost and the man you are becoming. You are not standing still while she struggles, you are moving forward. And nothing makes your absence more powerful than her realizing you're not the same man she walked away from. This self-focus is not about revenge. It's not about showing her what she missed out on, even though that may naturally happen. It's about proving to yourself that your value is not to anyone's presence in your life. It's about understanding that no matter who leaves, you remain the one who controls your destiny. When you live with that mindset, you become untouchable. You become the kind of man who doesn't need validation, because his life itself is validation. And here's the truth. Women feel that. They sense when a man is thriving without them, when he's not just surviving, but elevating. That's when the silence hits her even harder. Because while she is busy fighting regret and missing the version of you she once had, she now realizes that the man she left behind has evolved into someone even greater. That is where the pain multiplies for her. She doesn't just miss who you were, she misses who you become. And she knows deep down she no longer has access to that version of you. So while she struggles with emptiness, you are building fulfillment. While she drowns in longing, you are rising in strength. While she is stuck in the past, you are creating a future. And that contrast is what makes the silence unbearable for her. It's not only that time is breaking her, it's that time is making you, and the more you grow, the more she realizes the truth she can't escape. She needs you more than you ever needed her. In the end, that is the ultimate victory.